what does this bull market mean for future cycles? Because obviously we've talked about the bull market at length. We've talked about price action, but I kind of want to know where your head's at moving forward.
We gotta give the listeners some context. We went out for dinner the other day, yeah,
We
and
did.
all we spoke about was crypto. I I am sure you man have some stuff going on in your lives, and as do I, but we spoke about crypto the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think the prevailing line from what I can remember from our conversation is, yo, everyone knows it, but this cycle feels completely different from every other cycle. And it feels, obviously every cycle feels different, but this cycle feels very, very different to how the last two cycles felt different. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between the last two cycles was like, 2 or 3. The difference between the most recent cycle and this one is like 20 to 30, in my opinion. It just feels really different. And it feels like the rate of difference is a lot bigger. So what does this current bull market mean for crypto in general? Let's go through some happy facts. Solana's fallen off a cliff, which means meme coin activity is falling off a cliff. Pump.fun revenue is down 90%. No one gives a fuck about Pump.fun anymore. Congratulations. After they
Love
made
that.
like 550 million in revenue over the last year, literally in a year. Insane, bro. Like insane.
Idiots
They should
giving
just take
money
their
right
rapid
back
run.
to literally idiots giving literally idiots who just pump and pop off on wallet. Literally what they're doing.
Facts. So what it means for the rest of the market. Listen, I don't think the market's dead. I think when we were chatting, I was like, you know what? I'm not even sure when I'm gonna get back in the market. The market's a bit right now. Looking into the market properly since then, bro, I'm like 76, 77 is probably the minimum. Bare people got liquidated. Like when I looked at the liquidations over the last month, bro, it's been something like 20 billion worth of liquidations just in the crypto market, just based on the whole DeepSeek tariff, DeepSeek tariff to
Greed.
tariff V3.
Greed.
Bare people getting liquidated. So I think, listen, man, these people needed to get shot out of the market. Countries are still going to be buying Bitcoin. Like the strategic Bitcoin reserve has been signed now. The market moved zero. No one cared. ETFs are still being run up. For some reason, no one cares. Like Michael Saylor's buying Bitcoin every 15 seconds. For some reason, no one cares. Bro, there's so much positive news over the last.
Wait, don't forget the Binance
Generally.
and the Abu Dhabi Binance minority acquisition stake.
The Abu Dhabi bought
investment.
like 2 billion worth, invested 2 billion in Binance.
Yeah, 5% stake in Binance.
Yeah.
So it was.
Also,
Market didn't move.
market didn't move. But I bet, yeah, if Trump, if he takes a selfie and he coughs on a Bitcoin tissue, bro, the market's down 50%. I don't know, man. It's sensitive to certain news, but not sensitive to other news. So I don't know. But yeah, I think the market right now it has the most amount of institutional players that we've ever had, which is good news. But it just feels way too sensitive to political news. And I think that is just because there's so many new political institutions and not retail figures that have been entered into crypto. Because yeah, I don't feel like it was like this previously. Maybe it was. I don't know. But yeah, that's my opinion.
No, but I think the question is like, what do you think this impact will have on a future cycle, right, Iris?
Yeah, correct.
But future cycles from here.
Yeah.
I think this bull run is going to be long. I think we're not going to see this bull run top out until like next year, mid next year, which is my opinion. And I think
Is that because of the ETS? You think?
Nah, I don't think it's because of the ETS. I think it's because of how global liquidity is looking around the world and how, we thought we are going to get a pump, TGS bend down, how the dollar's been performing, all of this. I reckon we won't see the market top out until next year. Or like bull market end next year. Subsequent bull markets, I think the rate of difference is just going to get bigger and bigger and it's going to become a lot more competitive. And the way how some people were making money the last bull cycle, last bear market, it's going to be different. It's just going to become harder and harder to make money in crypto, and it's going to be looking a lot more like the stock market. There's just going to be more competition. The people coming into crypto now are just smarter, and your regular retail Donny that bought SHIB at 0.01 cents and rolled it up to like $5. Yeah, that's just gonna be a lot less. There's gonna be a lot less people like that. So I think retail are gonna get pushed out of the market almost entirely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with almost everything you said, Rick. I think that kind of speaks to the law of diminishing returns that we've seen ever since the first cycle began. And then I know a lot of people, like, one quick joke aside, I don't know, you might know Miles, right? Miles, the influencer on X.
Yeah.
He was talking about how he was saying how, like, basically take the following words out of vocabulary. This market is different. Bull market, bear market, 4-year cycle, altcoin season, because we just don't know. Like, we just don't know. I think not only is this market different because there's a lot more smart players, institutional players involved, sovereign wealth funds, countries looking to kind of build a SPR around Bitcoin. Not only does that make this market different, we've had a huge misallocation of funds with this with the meme coin market, because that should have been a part one of an altcoin season, and then we have a massive correction, and the next one would have been like, you know what, well, if you get caught holding the bag in this second rally, it's on you, bro. It's on you. But now people are just still speculating like, well, we deserve it. I know, I like, fitness aside, we do deserve one. We do deserve one, because I feel like we haven't got a proper altcoin season. But because of the old misallocation of funds, I just don't know. Like, so there also, I think Miles was kind of engaging in a bit of satire, but at the same time, there's a lot of truth in that, because can we keep calling it alt season? Because we might just get a pump and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? So we just need to remove that word from our vocabulary now until we get more confirmation. Right now, Bitcoin is done a little 4%, retesting that 84K range. We don't know, it might get rejected again, or might have a bullish continuation and get rejected at 89K. We just don't know. Just so many, just like, there's just no clear sign. And like what Rick said as well, the market is so heavily sensitive to tariffs news, and we don't know what's happening with the tariffs. If you now go long on the market, because 84K range 3 months ago would have been sexy to any trader, any investor. Now you're like, cool, I got a couple grand, I got a few mil. Should I go long on BTC now, thinking we're gonna go fly to 100K? You could get wiped out by tomorrow morning or by early Monday, because Trump might come and say, yo, I'm putting 400% tariff on Canada because it taxed us on blah, 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 blah. Just because you don't know, you better just playing it safe, just DC into spot, old spot. I wouldn't engage in high leverage trading right now, because you just get wrecked. And what does this mean for the future cycle? More diminishing returns. I mean, with this cycle, we still seen crazy people do crazy returns. Like we just had a confession, 15 sold to almost 1 million. Like, I don't think we'll get that. I'm not trying to say that will never happen again, because it is possible. But at the same time, you see less and less of that kind of story. Like, I ran up 10 sold, because I have no reason for my man to be lying. Like, you know what I mean? There are a lot of people on X that do be lying. Oh, I took this 5 sold challenge. Now I made 10 bill, bro. So who are you lying to, fam? You know, you showed us a fake paper wallet that you edited yourself. Stop that cat. But I just feel like there is a strong possibility that the more and more this cycle goes on, we'll probably move away from that 4-year cycle, because there's a lot more institutional money coming in that can move the market. And I have no doubt Bitcoin is going places, going to easily 6 figures plus. I'm not just talking about 100K. But at the same time, I can't sit and speculate to you that this year is the end of the bull cycle or next year end of the bull cycle. I think the best to do is just be prepared. And all it is, you know when is the bull market again, and you know when is the bear market. You just need to make sure, like, before the bear market comes, make sure you have the capital to buy things. And when the market is peaking, and when you hear this person doing well, that person doing well, when you hear Filecoin down 1,000%, and you don't take profit, that's on you, bro. Because again, the market always give it. Well, can you keep it? That's the story. So moving forward, any lessons you learn from the cycle, I pass for any future cycle, even if we're moving in from a 4-year cycle, even if we become a 3-year cycle, 5-year cycle because of ETF, because there's speculation, never speculation. It's a fact that the following year after ETF is released, they tend to usually do even better than previous year. So that's why I'm stunning, and like, I feel like we're gonna get more of a peak late this year than a peak next year, because I still think inflation is a problem. I know inflation came down a little bit, but I think this inflation is coming down because Trump is putting a lot of pressure on the on his trading partners to basically bring its own interest rate down and basically stop the outflow of unnecessary cash out of the country. And it seems to be working. So no one can tell me Trump doesn't know what he's doing. He has a plan. He didn't tell you that this plan is gonna be sexy. It's a brutal plan, brutal for my bags, brutal for everyone's bags. Whether you're on stock or crypto, the most important thing is just be prepared to be hedged. And I think as long as we're in this Trump administration, you should be prepared for anything. Post-Trump administration, we don't know, but for the next 2 years, I still think there's a lot of gains to be made in this market. Harris,
Yeah. I think that looking at altcoin season for this cycle, I think I don't know that we're going to get the altcoin season of the past, and I don't think we are. I do think though that something may happen later on down in terms of the rest of the year, and we maybe do some chop or even trending downwards until some of this tariff stuff clears up. And obviously we've not been super sensitive as we have been up until now in previous cycles to sort of macro in the same sort of way, excluding sort of major black swan events and stuff like that. But I also think that the 4-year cycle, this follows a hype cycle, and every type of market has a hype cycle. Some obviously are longer, but in terms of cryptos, you move from despair, then you get hope, and then you get the early majority, then the late majority, which is obviously your Uber drivers and your mom and your grandpa and all these guys asking about crypto, and that's happened already. And then from there,
it happened a bit too early. That's a problem because of meme coins.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point. So all of the money that should have been going to alts and went to meme coins, and maybe that was the so-called altcoin season of this cycle. Maybe we've already seen it and we don't really realize it, and we won't really know clearly until we go into an actual bear market where Bitcoin drops and the rest of the market tanks as well, more than it already has done. But there's a chance that because of all this institutional money, and obviously it flowing more so towards Bitcoin rather than the rest of the market, then Bitcoin remains a bit more steady, and if it does drop, then it drops less aggressively than obviously alts and memes, and then also memes go into a bear, and Bitcoin bear looks a bit different. So I think for future cycles, it's I agree with what you were saying, Deji. I think we're gonna see less returns, and I think the returns are gonna be more concentrated. I think we're gonna see, because before it used to be find stuff early in the bear market and then hold it until the altcoin season at the end of the bull market. Now I don't think you can rely on that type of strategy. I think you're gonna have to have more of a trader mindset, and I think it's gonna be more vicious unless obviously you're looking at Bitcoin and just want to play that game, which is fine. But obviously the returns there are obviously going to be slow and more controlled there as well. But as far as altcoins and meme coins are concerned, but let's say altcoins specifically, I think we are going to definitely be I think we're definitely going to have less returns, and the returns that we do get, we might get like a 100x or whatever, but that 100x is not going to be a sustained 100x. It might pump today and crash tomorrow, and then rotate into the next thing. So you really have to be monitoring what you're investing in, and if you don't, then you're gonna just pay the price and be holding the bag.
When is my bags getting pumped, bro? That's what I
Bro,
want to know.